Gloria. So welcome to our meeting. I know that Lorraine could not make it today. She was coming back from a vacation. And I talked with Anna, and Anna has decided to step down. I don't believe that she sent in her resignation paperwork yet, but she will be stepping down in the next few weeks, I imagine. So we will call the meeting to order at 2:00. Meeting, what are 2:00? And I'm going to try to take notes. Usually Lorraine is doing it while I'm going, so expect my notes to be kind of short and hopefully to the point, because I'm not going to be able to take up too many.
So David,
What's that?
I'll take some as well and we can corroborate.
Oh, I think that's great. Thank you. I appreciate it. The meeting was called to order at 2:00. The three of us are present. The new business, and probably the most important thing, Josh McGraw will speak on the ADA Improvement Grant. Josh will briefly explain the grant that the town of Bridgewater is applying for. And then Josh will request a letter of support from the commission. And at the end, Josh has stated he will be available to answer any questions we have in regard to the grant. So the floor is yours, Josh.
Thanks, David. So what we've been working on in town manager's office is the MOD ADA improvement grant. It is due on June 14th. So we did just want to speak to the commission before we submitted it, just to let you know we were doing it, and then request a letter of support so that we can submit that along with our application. What we're applying for right now is for the planning aspect. So it's actually broken up into two parts, the planning and project. Unfortunately, you can't apply for a project until the planning aspect of the town is met. So we're just going to get that taken care of, and then in hopes of applying for next year, or shortly after for the project part. I did. They had like a little info session on it. They encourage, right now they're encouraging towns and awarding more grants for the planning aspect, just to bring all the municipalities up to speed. So that is kind of their focus right now. So hopefully once everybody gets up to speed, then we'll see more of the project aspect of it getting awarded. So I think we kind of fall in line with a lot of municipalities right now, just creating and then bringing up to speed. So the kind of nuts and bolts of the planning aspect is just getting the town set up with an overview of all the municipality or municipal owned properties and sidewalks, schools, things like that. And then assessing those and creating a transition plan to see what type of costs we would be incurring to bring everything up to code. So that's kind of the gist of it. They review all the applications over the summer and plan to award in late fall.
Josh, who actually comes up with this grant writing? Is it yourself? Is it someone else?
Yep, I'm working on it right now, and Michael, he kind of puts it all together for us.
Okay.
This one's actually pretty straightforward. There's just certain requirements that
Right.
town needs to meet. Just because, like I said, we're not worried about the project. We're just worried about getting funding so that we can get the planning taken care of.
How much money do they award for the plan?
So right now, I believe there's $4 million available, and they can award up to 250,000. But just from watching the webinar, like I said, they're trying to get everybody caught up with the planning aspect. So they would rather not use up all their money too quickly with that full award amount. So anything we can get, and then we can match and go from there. They put us on track.
You had stated that you'd like us to submit a letter of approval. Who would that be going to? Mike Dutton, yourself?
Yeah, you can address it to Mike. That'd probably be the
Okay.
best.
And what would you like us to say exactly?
Just that, the town, we absolutely need, an up-to-date planning, for the ADA to make everything ADA compliant and, address a lot of the issues that we have in town.
Who will be implementing the plan?
That we have to figure out how, if it's like a consulting situation or, what the state would recommend. So I think right now, depending on, their requirements for like the bidding process and things like that, maybe they can give us a little bit of more, guidance on that. From what I gathered from the webinar, they really didn't go into details on that. So they might have resources available once they start getting into the approval process.
So right now, Josh, we're looking for the planning aspect. Do you and Mike already have like a idea what you want to, if this all works out, next year we be applying for money to do an actual project? Do we have an idea what we're looking for the future actual project?
We don't, because I think that's where the planning is really going to be helpful to us. It is going to, it's going to highlight where it's needed the most.
Okay.
And then we just use that as kind of the foundation for applying to those type of grants.
Time frame for the letter, are we talking like in the next day or two, or what are you looking for?
So we have to submit by June 14th. So if I could get it by next week, that would be perfect.
Okay. Karen, Gloria, any more questions, additional questions?
No, I'm good. I'm scribbling away here. All
I
set.
appreciate your note taking. I could tell already mine are pretty bad here, but thank you.
Yeah, and if
I-
anybody has any questions, feel free to email me. Everything's on the Mass State website. So if you just type in mod ADA grant, you can see everything that I've already seen. There's the webinars posted, things like that, if you're interested.
Okay.
They also have in the webinar they showed some past projects that were awarded, just to kind of give you some ideas too, which were very interesting.
Good. I have a question for you also, nothing to do with this whatsoever. However, the Literacy Place, an organization that used to be
You froze.
individually run, is now under the heading of the Senior Center. We meet there. We actually have
Can't see you.
18 and 19 volunteer tutors that teach English as a second language, including myself.
This is not good.
We have a very, very small bank account with the town of $800 and something. Is there a way to get grant money for an organization like this? It's been in operation for probably 20 years, but under the auspices of the Senior Center for maybe a year and a half to two. And we do, everything is on our own, whether it be the materials, copying, whatever we do is self-generated. So it'd be nice if we could get some assistance towards that. Do you have a suggestion?
That's a good question. If you could send me something, just in writing, just, giving me some details, that'd be a good start. I don't know off the top of my head, but it's definitely something I can look into for you guys and go from there.
Great. I mean, we're actually dealing with state organizations. Just as an example, in Raynham, they have a hotel that's been turned over for immigrants right now, and at least 7 or 8 of them are planning to meet with several of the tutors at a Bridgewater location, probably the library. So we're dealing with, large quantities of individual that we're tutoring. As a matter of fact, in Brockton, which wouldn't come out of Bridgewater, but we're tutoring a dozen novice nuns at a rectory that's right near Massasoit. So it's pretty large scale, for this kind of an operation. So yes, I will. I'll send you information about it.
But you're not saying that's a disability issue, right?
It's nothing to do with disability whatsoever. Though several of the folks actually do have disabilities that we're working with, but that's just more of a byproduct than anything else.
Okay.
But since we were talking about grants and all, like that'd be a great way to find out a little more.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Next thing we have, folks, is open positions. I had mentioned at the beginning of this meeting that Anna has decided to step down and will provide Josh a letter of resignation in the near future. We do have an interested applicant, Karen Kelleher, that will be applying as soon as the opening is official. So that will bring us up to 5 temporarily, but then we'll be losing one member, Karen. So then we'll be back to 4 again. So we will be looking for one additional member for the Disability Commission. If you guys know anyone that might be interested, that would be a good fit for our commission, please let me know, and we would like to look into that sooner than later.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
and just to speak to that, David, I handle the process for getting the interview set up and everything.
Okay.
So even though Karen still has, until the end of June, we can start getting somebody else in to interview and get them set up to go, get kicked off ready in July.
Oh, that's very appreciated. Thank you. If you find it, excuse me, if anyone else is interested, we would be looking forward to a 5th member also. Thank you.
I know I've mentioned this in the past, and I can't remember his last name, but Rich from the Elder Affairs Commission is a retired occupational therapist. And I think he would be a good addition to this commission as well. I don't even know if he's still in Bridgewater because I haven't been around the senior center at all, but he would have a lot of important things to add.
I have a
Karen, do
question.
you?
Are you thinking about Rich Gopin?
Yes.
Okay.
The reason I didn't ask him, and I've seen him a couple of times, is he's been having quite a few health issues recently.
Oh, okay.
And missing actually some meetings on the Elder Affairs Commission. So I didn't necessarily
Yeah.
want to
Right.
burden him with another commission. But
Yeah, like I said, I haven't been in touch with him. I just know based on his background, he would be,
Mhm.
and perhaps he can be a non-voting member and join when he
well, that
can.
would be, that's a good idea also.
Yeah, because I'm not sure that Zach Chipman will be able to return in his role from the university.
Okay.
Good. That's a good idea. Thank you. Next thing I have was crosswalk safety in downtown Bridgewater. And this has come up many times before, but however, recently on Bridgewater Resident, someone posted a complaint. I live and walk a lot around the center of town, and this is quoting. Yesterday, I was almost mowed down again while trying to cross at the crosswalk between the town hall and the library. The cars that are passing through the center are moving at such a high rate of speed that you get caught in the middle of the road while trying to cross. It's a bloody roller derby. Again, I'm just quoting. We need cameras at the crosswalks. And someone responded to them, raised crosswalks are used in quite a few towns. And Josh, why I thought this would be a good point to bring this up. There was a segment that was posted on, I think it was Bridgewater Residents, and it was Mike Dudden talking about the abandoned garage in downtown Bridgewater. It was kind of across from CVS and the cemetery. There's a little cemetery to the left of CVS, and across the street from there, there's a garage that's been empty for, I can't remember how many years now, but quite a long time. And Mike was discussing some of the valuable possibilities for that site, including possibility of expanding a park and so forth.
Oh,
Well,
the
one of
old
the
mobile
things-
station?
Was that?
Yes.
The old mobile
Yes, it
station?
was.
Oh, yep, okay.
Yes, it is. But one of the things he did mention, and he talked about several different solutions for crossing to that area, was there is a crosswalk over there that's older and faded, and he was talking about having a raised crosswalk possibly, or a vividly painted crosswalk. And this is kind of things we've talked about for downtown Bridgewater around the green, that we've never really got to that point. It's always a point of discussion that, will be on the long-term goal for Bridgewater. But if we're discussing it for the possibilities for that old mobile station and crossing over there, I think downtown Bridgewater is certainly a lot more vibrant and a lot more used than that particular area for whatever we're deciding to do with that. And I thought that since it's come up so often that, what could we do to get this to Mike and maybe the town council to make it happen in a timely manner?
Yeah, I'd say again, writing a letter. I mean, the problem with people posting on the Bridgewater residence website is we don't really see that. So,
Right.
I mean, I actually often walk to work, and I experience the same thing going through those crosswalks. And a lot of times I even see police officers posted up right there. It's it's coming down from the speed and everything and hitting the center of town. So I completely understand, but I think, encouraging people to just, if they see any type of like, I believe the last disability commission meeting, there was the gentleman that he fell in his wheelchair.
Right.
Just
Mhm.
encouraging people to use the report it on the website. It helps our DPW department and highway know where these type of repairs are needed, or if if the crosswalk is needs a repaint or anything like that. So little things like that is probably the best way to get their voices heard versus
Okay.
again posting in a private, I believe it's a private Facebook group.
Right, that was a private one. It just brought to my attention again because it is a dangerous thing. One of the things that I do, I tutor at the library on Mondays, and I come out from the back of the library, and I have to go around the green, and just trying to get out is so difficult because cars are going so fast downtown there. There's cars parked sideways at a 45-degree angle towards the sidewalk, so you really can't see anything until you're partially out into the street, and no one wants to let you go. And it's unfortunately the same thing when someone is crossing over there. So I think it's more than just addressing the highway to, repaint the crosswalks over there. It's a whole decision of maybe speed bumps, certainly repainting the sidewalks with maybe more vibrant colors, or maybe more raised or something, but just a couple different options to kind of, change the speed level and the safety downtown.
I think the crosswalk by the abandoned gas station will have an advantage because there's actually a traffic signal there and you can hit the walk button to cross. And that doesn't exist at the end of Central Square up by the library, where that's just kind of like everyone's on their own.
Right. So any other comments? Do you think it's a good idea to follow up? Karen, Gloria, what do you think?
Well, I think like Josh, oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, I think that affects everybody, not just people with disabilities.
Right.
So I think, one, we can certainly follow up to advocate for individuals who might be slower to cross and making the crosswalks more visible, and certainly also discussing possibly, the walk signal, although this will annoy everybody crying through Central Square, but if they hit the walk button down at the other end, if that could just last a little bit longer to let people cross all the way across. Because at that point, when you're trying to cross the street, it's already flashing at you when you're still in the middle of the road. And for anyone who is walking more slowly, that's it. There's not much business to go to anymore on Central Square anyhow, but it certainly would not encourage folks who had mobility limitations to frequent businesses on Central Square. And
Are
I do
you-
believe that Bob Ruley would like to see more businesses on Central Square.
I'm sure he would. Are you mentioning the crosswalk that's kind of near the bakery at the corner there?
Yeah.
There's the light signal over there.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Okay.
just kind of like a nightmare intersection, whether you're walking or driving. So,
Right. I go to the Martha's Dry Cleaners down there, and I'll tell you, taking your life in your hands, even crashing in the crosswalk, because you're right, nobody slows down. And I think I can still get across in the time frame of the light, but you have to be fast, that's for sure.
Yeah, but imagine pushing a stroller. I mean, it doesn't have to be a disability. It could be
Right.
just a mother trying to cross with a 4-year-old.
So, any other comments?
No, so
Okay.
just following up on what Karen just said, that's a great idea to get that crosswalk button extended. How would we go about doing that? Josh?
That would be a report it. So, if what I would recommend is just going to the website, clicking and report it, it gives you a little map. And then, that way highway gets it. I don't know if that gets sent to engineering or what kind of, setup they have to do, but, it at least get it started. And, I know with all the redevelopment that, it's being discussed by CED and town council and everything. I mean, just getting this stuff sent in it would be a good way to get the discussion
Yeah.
going. So that way, you guys can advise or make recommendations once they really get into the talks of what the redesign is.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Gloria, I will mention that Lorraine followed up on this in front of the Bridgewater Housing a couple of times, and that was within the last year. And there had been several complaints about the crosswalk not lasting long enough. And she had someone come and they looked at the timing and tried to extend the time a couple times on that. So it's definitely possible.
Okay. Thank you.
Good. Number 4 on the agenda was the Independence Associates. We were thinking of having them join us to speak at one of our meetings. I put down probably September because we seem to be in a little bit of a flux right now with a couple people leaving. Hopefully we'll have a full staff in September. So I would leave them off the agenda until we're fully staffed. Would you agree with that?
What
do
would be
agree
the
with-
point of having them at all?
Well, basically to see, they actually have reached out to us on several occasions in the
Of course
past.
they have. They're marketing.
It is marketing, and they wanted us to partner with them and just letting people know that they exist and so forth. They do tell us more about how they help folks with disabilities and so forth. So it's something we can discuss, but I don't think it would be something we'd want to do certainly in the summer when we're at a low point in staffing in the commission.
Yeah, I would encourage you to not do it at all.
Okay.
We don't provide direct services and we don't recommend any particular agency to individuals with disabilities who might reach out to you. And
Okay.
so I would be very cautious. And the direct care provision piece is a huge part of who they are. They
Mhm.
also do some advocacy. A lot of it is like personal care assistance, in-home assistance, and I would worry about it looking like the town was endorsing them. And so I would be very cautious.
Well, that's a good point. So we'll definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I mean, not that they're bad. I just want to maintain like the commission's boundaries.
Well, that's a good valid point. Thank you. Next thing, I talked at the last meeting about initiating an annual Disability Commission Award. We talked about doing this, recognizing excellence in the Bridgewater community, drafting a letter to Josh detailing the award and inviting town management to join us. We would invite the winner to a small ceremony at the senior center upon their approval, and we would have to come up with a date, which again, I didn't follow up any further because I knew that there's going to be we're going to be at a weak point in our commission with 3 members temporarily. If one person isn't able to make it, we can't even have a meeting. So I'm trying to put off until we have at least 4 permanent members, and we'll go from there.
Why would the ceremony be at the senior center instead of town hall?
Well, we could do it at the town hall if that's available. I just thought the senior center seems to be a readily available resource. I know that the town hall, it seems to be tougher to get to space, but that could be a good suggestion also.
Yeah, I mean, because if we're talking about the possibility of something like the Boundless Bean, that's certainly more convenient. Town hall would be more convenient for them. They're practically there.
Well, you're right about that. That is true. Definitely true.
And I would endorse any way that we can officially, as a town commission, recognize the Boundless Bean for the work they're doing. Because I think they are making a contribution to the town, as well as to the disability community broadly. I think they're setting a good example, perhaps, for other retailers or restaurants in the area. Like, it is not a disadvantage to hire someone with a disability.
I think they've gone even further than that because not only have they set up the location to make it easily accessible for
Right.
people with disabilities, but they've also gone out of their way to employ associates of their business that they have to work with one-on-one. And I will tell you, they have so much patience and so much care and concern for these people. So you're right. They are sending quite the message there. And that would be certainly a great company to kick off any kind of recognition for. I agree.
And you know, they can also, and perhaps I'm sure they'll mention this, but depending on where their associates come from, they may actually be accompanied by a job coach. And so it would not be an extra cost to the restaurant or whatever, because the job coach is paid for through enough, like wherever the agency is that's sponsoring this vocational training. Sometimes it comes
Right.
from Mass Rehab. I know they even have associates there from our Excel program on campus, which is one of the reasons why Zach Chipman is so very, very busy, because that thing's about to double in size. So, you know, they do have people who are working with these folks to teach them all of the skills, you know, the restaurant skills, how to maintain cleanliness, how to use a cash register, all of those things. So I think it's wonderful for the individuals with disabilities who are in front of the counter, who are buying things, and for individuals behind the counter who are learning job skills. So I think it's a win-win all the way around. And the nice thing is, so far, it seems like it is a successful business. I'm hoping that they are not just hanging on by their fingernails, but it'd be nice to know that they are actually turning a profit and being successful.
Well, every time I go in there, they seem to have people coming and going, and it seems to be very active. So that's a nice sign. And I also feel good about that too.
Yeah, I've encouraged my students to go there as allies. I'm like, look, you're in a field to work with people with disability. It's like, so go if you like. And so a couple students did, and they came back and raved about it. And so now it is, I said, at least once a semester, walk all the way up there. If you're going to CVS, then cross the street. And they're like, it's that easy? I'm like, yes, it's that easy.
Plus they have the best pastry. So it's definitely worth it.
Oh, every single one of my students raves about their cinnamon rolls.
Oh, yeah, those are excellent. Okay, so suggestions for future agenda topics. Anything anyone would like to bring up, or you can send it to me in the near future?
David, before we go there,
Yes.
a little bit about last month, we had Mark Henderson as a guest, and he talked to us about the pothole that he encountered when he was crossing from, I believe, Angelo's to Just Desserts.
Right.
And I know Josh had directed him to fill out a report, and I just want to mention, if no one's noticed it, that it's not just Coal Patch now. The two areas have been gone over.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're more professionally filled in now, so I'm glad to see that that was accomplished.
That's a good point. Thank you. And I did send, I was hoping that Mark would join us today. I did send out a copy of our agenda to him. So hopefully on the next meeting, because that will be certainly a great addition. If no suggestions, the date of the next Disability Commission meeting would be June 25th at 2 p.m. I will send out any of the letter that we're going to send to Mike Dutton in regard to the ADA improvement grant. I will send it to both of you for comments, any suggestions, and Josh will make sure that it's to you by early next week.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much.
Is there anything else to add, anyone, before we move to adjourn the meeting?
Yes,
Gloria.
we did forget in the beginning to have the approval of last month's meetings.
I'm
notes.
not sure we can because I wasn't there, so you're the only one who can approve them, Gloria.
I
good
actually,
point.
sorry to interrupt. You can approve. The way the Roberts rules instructs is, it's not if you were absent or not, it's your confidence in the minute taker.
Oh, okay, because on campus, we can't vote unless we were present.
Oh,
So I have every confidence in the note takers. I just can't verify the content.
Well, that's great. Gloria, I guess you'd be my second vote.
I would be your second vote, and I will say that Lorraine did a very thorough job, very, very thorough job.
And Lorraine always does a very thorough job. She does an excellent job. Approved. Thank you. I move to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a vote for that?
Sure, I'll
Gloria,
second that.
Karen? Thank you very much, Karen. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Thank you, Gloria. Thank you for joining us today. I look forward to seeing everyone on June 25th at 2 p.m. And in the meantime, I will send over ASAP the letter for your perusal and approval.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for taking notes today, Gloria. And everyone have a great rest of your day.
Thanks very much.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice day.
Stay
Bye-bye
well,
now.
everyone.
Thank you, Josh.
welcome.